Welcome to the Indie Books International Marketing with a Book, a video podcast where we meet once a week with our Indie Books friends and family and have a special guest on most episodes where we dive into a particular topic or issue or challenge that is of interest to the vast majority of us. At Indie Books International, we feel, and our approach is we want people to write not only a good book, we want people to write the right book, and that it becomes a gateway book to more consulting, more coaching, more training opportunities, more keynote speeches, whatever it is that you want more of. In fact, we think of it as a gateway tool to everything you want more of in your consulting business or your coaching business or whatever professional service that you might be providing in the marketing, in the marketplace. We think that the right book, without a doubt, can be your greatest marketing tool. And we have a special guest today, Theresa Ashby, who's going to talk about how to scale your business via an online course. And before we do that, we always like to just go around the horn a bit and introduce our indie authors, whether they have completed a book with us, are working on their first book, and or possibly working on their next book. I want everybody to introduce themselves today. Your name, where you're from, the title of the book you have, or the title of the book you are working on next. And to answer this question, the one thing that has surprised me the most about the publishing journey or having my own book is blank. The one thing that has surprised me the most about my book or this journey is blank. I'm going to start with David Goldman and then Chris.
Thank you, Mark. I'm David Goldman. I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I wrote a book called The Road to Happiness: How to Get What You Really Want. And the one thing that surprised me is in writing the book, it made me clearer about who I am and what I do than I've ever been. Not that I wasn't clear before, but this really made me a lot clearer.
Thank you, David. Christopher Hodges and then Joe Pallo.
My name is Chris Hodges. I'm from Denver, Colorado. The title of my book is Your Noble Robot: Profiting and Retaining Talent in the Age of Automation. And that's changed a couple times, but I really like the new title. And the question, what has surprised me the most? I recently reached out to 16 C-level executives in companies around the United States, and I very timidly and sheepishly expected most of them to not either conduct an interview or be willing to let me quote them in my book. And 14 of the 16 said yes. And I am completely blown away by that. One of them just never responded, so I'm assuming she's in Johnson & Johnson. She's busy with other problems. But that's the thing that surprised me, is the people on this call and this community, and then throw in these 14, I can't believe how willing to help people are. And that's a fantastic thing.
Thank you, Chris. Joe and then Craig Louder.
I'm Joe Pallo from Shoreview, Minnesota. The title of my book is How to Sell Nothing Better Than Everybody Else. So I don't have a book yet. I'm still in the early stages. And two things surprised me the most. One is I talked to a lot of publishers. I actually had a publisher before and I had to separate to go a different direction, but how poor they are at truly selling. So Mark and Henry, you guys have a unique skill set where you did a heck of a job. And so that was one thing that was a welcome surprise. And then the other part is how much more of this book writing stuff there is than I don't even know yet. So there's a lot more to know, and I'm just the student of the game, I guess.
Thank you, Joe. Your book is on how to sell nothing, and at the moment you've got nothing to hold up.
Correct.
But it's coming.
Yes.
Thank you, Joe. Craig and then Diane.
Yes, my name is Craig Louder, and I live in Chicago, Illinois. The name of my book is Smooth Selling Forever. Actually, two things. I'll keep it brief. Number one, writing the book, if you get in the right mindset, is not as hard as you think it is. But what really has surprised me the most is my clients are carrying around my book with them with little yellow sticky notes and certain lines underlined that they use it as really a reference resource. And that really shocked me. Thanks, Mark.
Hello, my name is Diane Ployce. I'm from the San Francisco Bay Area. I'm working on a book. It will be something like questions to ask before you invest in a franchise.
And Diane, what was the about your book that surprised you the most?
How long, how very long, how outrageously long it is taking me to finish it up.
It's a journey, that's for sure. Thank you, Diane. I'm looking forward to your book. Kim and then Tawana.
Well, the Damn Plan, How to Find Freedom, Love, and Money in Your Business, launched early in April. Feels like it's May already. And then both my business partner and I launched into COVID. So there's been a lot of things that have surprised me about the process. But I guess when you write a book called The Damn Plan, and N is for no excuses, you just weather the storm. And what surprised me the most is the wide variety of people that are pulling little snippets out of the book that I'm going, that matters to you. So I think, sometimes we go in with a preconceived idea of what people want to hear, need to hear. But in the process, I learned to write more with my heart, I've always known how to write with my heart, but to actually publish with my heart. So in doing that, I was able to find things that people really wanted to hear. Thank
you, Kim. And I love your book cover, the design of it.
Well, that is thanks to Sandy Soderholm. That's my daughter.
Ah, nice. All right, Tawana.
Good afternoon, everyone. My book is in the works. It will be leadership lessons learned along the Camino de Santiago. Had an opportunity to complete the trip across the mountains, and just wonderful opportunity. Surprising, as I always share, I am so blown away by the giving of this community, how gracious they are to share, and the support to make sure that everybody succeeds. And another one is how long it's taking me to get past writer's block. I keep having to convince myself that I have something to share that people will want to hear. So, and I come to you from sunny Northern California.
Well, thank you. And being a fellow pilgrim on the Camino, I'm looking forward to reading your book and hearing your stories and learning your lessons. Dana Morgan Barnes, good to have you join us today. I was going to say, give us your name, but I just gave it. So you can double down on your name and where you're from, and one thing that has surprised you the most about the book publishing process or your journey.
My name is Dana Morgan Barnes. Just in case you didn't hear him, I live in Cheyenne, Wyoming. And something that surprises me is I keep writing things down and I can't seem to put it in some kind of order that makes sense. So I just keep putting things down and rereading and reshuffling, and hopefully it'll make good sense after the third or fourth run through.
Great, thank you, Dana. And my name is Mark LeBlanc. I'm in downtown Minneapolis, and I have written 2 books and co-authored 3 books. And the one thing that has surprised me the most is it doesn't seem to really get any easier. Just because you wrote one book, the seeds of doubt and uncertainty and chaos continue to thrive on book number 2 and book number 3 and book number 4. Maybe that's why I have been open to co-authoring, which Henry and I are going to devote an episode to on the power of co-authoring a book. But just because you've written one doesn't always mean the next one is going to be easier. It still tests everything that you have inside of you. But here was the interesting thing, and something happened at the 4th book. And it's hard to explain when you're on book 1 or 2 or in that journey, but something happened internally for me. And it was almost as if I just sort of settled in, and all of a sudden you see 4 books in a row and it's like, hey, I'm a player in this field. There was a sense of accomplishment or achievement, almost like, well, maybe the first book was a fluke. Maybe the second book I got lucky. The third book, well, possibly the charm. But the 4th one, it was like the sun and the moon and the stars just sank in. So, you know, hang in there. It is definitely worth it. And for those of you that can't even imagine going through this again for a second or third time, pretty good chance your favorite author, your favorite nonfiction business book author probably did not stop at 1 or 2 books. So be thinking about what your book's plan is over the next 10 years. And with that, we'll shift gears. We have Dr. Theresa Ashby, or Dr. T, as we know her. She is on a mission to help over 100,000 business owners sustain and scale by adding digital products and services to their offerings, such as e-learning courses, membership subscriptions, and online communities. She is the host of the Heart, Hustle, and Humor podcast, COO of Kaleidoscope Media Services, and author of Better Implementation Now: 8 Ways Great Strategies Fail and How to Fix Them. Her upcoming book, Building a Scalable Consulting and Coaching Practice, Digitization to Grow and Increase Your Revenue. The working title at the moment will be released by the end of 2021. And on a personal note, she loves to travel. In fact, she has traveled to 6 of the 7 continents. Watch out, Australia. She's on her way when the country opens up. Today, she's going to present a scalability model for consultants, coaches, and what can be our next level as authors. Thank you, Dr. T, for being with us today. Take it away.
Well, thank you so much. We'll take a moment here. Thumbs up if we're good. All right. Well, we're going to talk about building a scalable consulting and coaching business. And this is a little bit personal for me. I guess it was about 5-6 years ago when I first ran across Henry DeVries, and he knew that I had just started a consulting practice. And he said, you have to write a book to gain influence and really have that business card, right? It's having that in the back of the room, getting clients. And so my journey started with them, and then I met Mark, and I've taken several of his achiever circles, and they know that my struggle was always about What am I selling? What value am I providing? And of course, there's just me, and I am just the one person. And so when it came to scalability for me, and what I see other people doing is it's limited, right? Because to scale, you can't grow if your structure is hampering it, or you don't have resources, money, time. There's only so much time in a day. And so it really became for me to transition and say, what can I do? And then through study and learning, I was, when we are looking at our consulting practice, we have so much information. We're the genius behind all that information. And I really wanted to be able to help other consultants. And that's really why we came up with our mission statement. And that's why we're on this mission. And when you look at consultants and coaches, this was actually pre-pandemic. We needed to rapidly shift into a different kind of model. Then we had to change and kind of abandon this time for money business model. Now, of course, we know in our day and age, this has accelerated the opportunity, and we need to monetize that intellectual capital you have to scale your business. And think, you're all authors, you're all speakers, which means you have the intellectual capital. And as you're looking at your book, today, I want you to kind of think about, what does this look like for my scalability model and my upsells? And I'm going to show you later how to do that. And it's really going from that selling one-to-one to selling to many. Now, Suzanne is going to put in the chat a couple of things for you so you can take away. One is there's a highlights reel that you can get some input from some of our other friends that help us out as people that we work with. One of them is our famous Henry DeVries. So check that out. The other thing is there's a course class for you. So if you're starting to think about this, it's an offer. Just use Indie Friends and you get $50 off. And then also, if you want to chat afterwards, I would love to chat with you just to see if you can scale your business through some kind of digital product. So with that said, I kind of wanted to show you, think about this guy. Everybody, this guy's recognizable, right? And so what if we could build a consulting business like Jeff Bezos built Amazon? What if? Well, here's how he did it. He took the flywheel, right? And if you think about this flywheel, how it works is Amazon brought in their first sellers, and those were books. Those were authors, and they started selling to their authors. Then they started to drive traffic through books. And then they started to find more sellers, opportunity to give more selection. This is going to become very important as we talk about our businesses and how we can scale. So more selection, right? If you have more selection, you give the customer better experience. You drive more traffic, more sellers, more selection, more customer experience, and it goes around and around. Now, this is what, as consultants, we have kind of grown into believe that, we have to be there one-on-one. And as this pandemic time, we know mentally we've been able to shift. And I don't see it going back to the typical always one-on-one. So what does that mean for you in your practice? Here's the scalability. Here's the flywheel for consultants. We deliver value. We have the customer experience. We have results. We get traffic, which is our referrals. How many of us love referrals? That is our bread and butter, referrals, right? You do good work. They have a great customer experience. You transform the customer with the work you're doing. But the truth is, it's a lot of work. We're tired because, again, we have limited time. But you're still providing value. You're providing customer service, and then you get results, and it drives referrals. Here's where we break down, though. You're delivering value, your customer experience. The more and more and more and more customers you get, then the results sort of start to drop a little bit. How many of you have had one client and their experience was extraordinary? They're like, I love you. And they love you because you're there all the time. But then you get 2 clients and 3 clients and 5 clients and then 10 clients. And you're like, oh my, how do I manage all of that? And so the experience for your clients kind of go down. The results start to go down. And guess what? You have no referrals. And we want referrals. So here's how we do the typical consulting practice. Hopefully our phone rings or we get a lead gen. Whoops, sorry folks, what's going on here? We get a lead gen and then we get a proposal and now we still haven't sold anything. Then you finally get to provide value. And when you're providing value, sorry about this, I don't know exactly what's happening here. When you provide value, then then the more work you have and the less time you have and your quality goes down. And this is why if you add a digital product to your offerings, you can then create an opportunity for them to get you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But it also helps with your upsells. So who can benefit from this? And I put this together just because I think some of us are, I put high-level athletes because I wanted to share with you how they're transitioning to what they're doing. And also about retirees. We never sent out, our business model was never to work with people who were going to retire. But what we found is people wanted to leave a legacy. And so now even they're transitioning into the e-learning space or the digital space. So from now on, what I want you to think of, what does this mean for you in your practice? And here's some ideas. If you're a coach, you can build a scalable and sustainable business model by creating a digital product. So you're not, oh, wow, sorry, everybody. Let me just escape out of here. There. I'm just going to do it this way. I don't want to waste everyone's time. So we're going to continue here. So if you're a coach or a consultant, then you think about building, stop trading your time for your dollars. And this is really important because people, it's not just about the e-learning course. This may be something you can do. You onboard each and every one of your clients exactly the same every time. You set them up for success to work with you. What could you do digitally that you stay consistent with that information? And guess what? That frees up 30 minutes, 45 minutes of your time. Also teaches them that, again, consistency. Authors. So all of us, as we are building that content or we have a book, how do you repurpose your content into the e-learning course? It's the perfect upsell. Think about this. You're going to use your book in the back of the room, and we'll still use the back of the room, even though we don't know when we'll be in a room together, but there's ways of doing it, right? Now you have something to say, well, there's my book, and there's additional opportunities for them to purchase an e-learning course. Because see, your e-learning course is not the title of your book. What it is if you have 5 main chapters, each one of those chapters become a module in your e-learning. So think about that as your upsell. Speakers, of course, you have the keynote already. You have a digital product. High-level athletes are transitioning into this because people have instant access to their coaches now. And retirees, as I mentioned, they're wanting to leave a legacy. Some of you have been in the coaching industry for a very long time. You came out of a business and you have so much intellectual capital that we all need. That's where I get my mentoring. Mark's been in the consulting world much longer than I have, and I thrive on getting that information from him. Well, this gives that an opportunity to leave your legacy. So let's talk about what it would look like from a scalability model if you added a digital product. Your lead generation. See, this now becomes a lead gen because you can give your digital product away for free, or you can charge a nominal fee for it. the exploratory call now becomes very short and very specific. And I'm going to show you how we do it with our products and how we do the upsells here. When you have a digital product, the value delivery is always consistent. When you have a client on Monday morning at 10 a.m., you've been rested hopefully over the weekend. So that Monday client gets every bit of you, every bit of energy. But on Friday at 2 o'clock, when you're talking to a client, you've worked hard all week. And so you may not have that energy. So the value may be reduced on some of the offerings that you're doing. So you have more clients and more freedom because they're purchasing your e-learning course, which, by the way, turns into more higher paying clients because now they're getting to know, like, and trust you. High quality, it's about producing something that has great quality. And because of that, you get client referrals. So you start generating money early, you provide consistent quality, and people like you now, and they're referring you. So it becomes different. It becomes a different way of practicing your business. So when you think about and you decide that if you want to do an e-learning course, okay, there's certain things you have to look at. And here's how we've categorized them. So make note of this, because if you're going to move forward with doing this, you want these columns. You have to think about each one of them. And the first one is discovery. See, what is your real goal of an e-course? We get people calling us and saying, we want to build an e-learning course. And our first question is, why? Where does it fit on your business model, on your scalable model? How are you leveraging it? So you want to know your goals. It is a commitment to create an e-learning class. It is a time up front, right? So you spend time and money up front, but then that time and money go down because now it's just in the sales funnel process. What type of product do you want to do? Is it one course? Is it an academy with multiple courses? Do you want to create some kind of digital community where you can sell your courses within? So it's this whole picture. And you need to have a business plan, which is your scalability model, and really understanding your avatar. I know, at Indie Books, they spend a lot of time with us on your avatar, because the more clear you are on who you're selling to, the better you do, the clearer your prospects are. The planning part is course name, lessons, modules, components. There's all kinds of ways to make this interactive. And the course name is clear over clever. I love to come up with clever names, and no, clear. Clarity is important when you're naming it. You build lessons, and then you build modules, and then components. There's a variety of different components you want to use. Then you have to develop it. It's really about building your content, because see, if you have a speech you're giving, a keynote, when you go to convert it, there's some scripting that has to be very different because they don't see you. So we want to have a lot of, no abbreviations, really tell your story. We love Michael Hegg. You gotta check him out. He talks about how to write a story. And so in your scripting, you need to do that. What platform to use? Now, I'm an advocate of don't worry about the platform. This is your learning management systems. That is the last thing. You have to know everything you want to do, what you want to offer, and then you find the best learning management system for you, not the most expensive. And then enhancements. And enhancements are downloads. Do you do downloads? Do you do some videos? How do you follow up? Do they get a coaching session with you? Production, your presentation. And there are some great opportunities out there that cost you very little on your presentation. We have a variety of them. Canva, we love Canva. You can do straight up video. And by the way, video, just get a lapel mic and use your phone. The tip is use the back picture, the back camera, because that will give you much clearer. And you can create your videos that way. You can do voiceovers. You can have mixed media. If you don't like being in front, just do a voiceover. But if you like being out front, then do a video and tell a story, or maybe both. And then there's the editing, because you need the intro, outro, all of those kinds of things. And then, of course, we have to market. And you can do freemiums, funnels, landing pages, sales page. So when you're looking at your scalability model that I showed you, then if it fits, then break down how you build your course in this format, and it will be much easier. So let me share with you how I go about this. So we have a course that I mentioned earlier. It's called the course class. And for some of you, this could be the perfect model. The course class is 5 weeks. It's every Monday and Wednesday for 5 weeks. On Mondays, it's a digital product, and we teach something on that Monday. They get high value, and Monday, of course, makes sense. It's in the discovery phase. So you could create a process like this. Now on Monday, we teach them all of this: goals, commitment, type of product, and business planning. And then on Wednesday, we do, myself and my business partner, do a live 1 hour coaching session with everybody. 15, 16, 17 people come and they ask us any question about that discovery lesson. Then the following week on Monday, it's digital for planning. And then on Wednesday, we talk, and it goes on until the 5th week where it's marketing. And then the last session. Now, here is the unintended consequence of this. They got to know, like, and trust us. And usually we have people out of that class. All right. It's $149. That's what we charge, because we're using it as a lead gen. We used to do both days live, which that is a lot of time for 2 of us. So we created the digital part on Monday, and we feel the value is in that live one, because now for some of us that like that one-on-one connection, so people end up calling us and saying, wow, how can you now help me? So we offer, when I get a discovery call, here's what happens. Somebody calls and says, I'm interested in working with you. How do we do that? We have 3 packages. We have a do it yourself, a do it with you, and a do it for you. And then we tell them the do it yourself is $149, which you're getting it all because of Indie Friends and Family for $99. We say we have that one. We say we have package number 2 where we'll do it with you. And the prices start, and we tell them what they start with. And when we say, and when we give them a price, we stick to it. There's no upselling, downselling. It's price number 3 is we'll do it for you. And we've actually had somebody hand me their book that they published and said, can you create my course for me? And then I say, I think either package 1 or package 2, do it yourself or do it with us, is the best. And they say, well, I can't really afford your middle package. I said, that's okay. That's why we created this other course for you, so that you can do it. Again, value, we're on a mission to help 100,000 businesses. It makes sense for us. So how can you create this kind of model? We started out again with doing it live on Mondays, and we recorded it, and then we got better and better and better. And now it's 100% digital, and they get downloads and worksheets, and they love it. And we've had people at the end of that 5 weeks put a course up online and start selling it. So I'm hoping that this model helps you in your scalability for your business. I think if you follow it, you will have something new to add to your business. And with that, I just want to say again, please, you get the course class if you want it. Highlights is for free. Go onto my Calendly, book me for a discovery call. I just will talk to you and say, what makes sense in your business? We're very open to having that wonderful dialogue with you. And with that, our taco cheers. We love working with everybody. And Mark, thank you so much. I will turn it back over to you.
Wow, give it up for Dr. T here.
Thank you.
You're scaring me, Dr. T.
Uh-oh.
One, I think there's an opportunity here. That was in a short amount of time, you gave us a very comprehensive overview. And for anyone that's listening live, if you have a question, please put it in the chat box. But I have a couple questions
Wonderful.
for you. How can a mere mortal get started in a small way?
Yes. You have so much information with what you do. You have so much information. And I see it finding something that's small and narrow, that's repetitive. What is that you do with every single client and create something that's digital for them?
Mm-hmm.
I think also when you already have a program, maybe you find something that's small that you can videotape. It doesn't have to be highly produced, so that after you meet with somebody, you can give them another video to enhance what you already talked to them about.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not about creating these, these courses that have 25 chapters and they're 6 hours long. Create something that's an hour. Record something you're already doing and use that and just make it better and better. I think that's the best way to start. Focused and narrow.
I think one of the challenges that so many people have is they hear online course and they immediately go to, I'm going to create something, upload it, and I'm going to wake up in the morning and the cash register is ringing.
Yes. So there are people out there that will tell you you're going to make $100,000 on a course. I'm here to tell you that is not our philosophy over at Kaleidoscope Media Services.
Mm-hmm.
We are using it as a business tool to generate revenue, if that's what your business model is, to generate leads, if that's what your business model is. And so not to, and if you want to pay for marketing, you can, but this isn't, it's like you say, our books, they're not out there to make, $100,000. They're out there because it's getting the information to people so they come to you and want to work with you more. Mm. And I think the other piece that goes along with that, Mark, is people will always ask us, the two questions that they ask is, what platform and how much do I charge? And that's another thing we put off. We don't talk about how much it is because you can do something for 15 minutes and charge $1 or free. You can do something for 3 hours and charge $199. But it depends on where it goes in your model as to what makes sense. If your next package is $5,000, then maybe you want to charge $399 because you want to be able to go into that next level package.
You had a different business model when we met.
Yes, I did.
and I'm curious, Theresa, what was the catalyst or the trigger that said, boy, I think there's an opportunity here in online courses and scalability? What was that seminal moment where you thought, oh, I think there's an opportunity here?
Yeah. Well, when it comes right down to it, showing up into a room and trying to sell what I was doing was difficult because I had a hard time differentiating myself. I'm a strategist, right? I do implementation, hard to differentiate. I did not have clarity on what I was doing. And quite frankly, when I would make a sell, I was like, oh yes, I made that sell. And then I would go work that client. I would work in there. I'd get them everything they do. They would transform. They loved me. In the meantime, my sales for my next client is, of course, suffering. And so it was this cycle of up and down, up and down. And the reason I left corporate America is because I wanted to help more businesses and I just wasn't doing it. So I was sitting back and going, I mean, the frustration level, what do I do? What do I do? And then as I started doing more research, I looked at the scalability model and said, okay, this is how I have to do it. This is how I can differentiate myself. And that's where I moved into it 3 years ago.
Mm. And would you just walk us through, you talked about do it yourself, do it with you,
Yeah.
and do it for you.
Yeah.
But I think I heard you say that there are some people that have gone through the 5 session course and have not taken that long to put something up themselves, or
Right.
maybe with a little bit of help from you.
With a yes, because in that 5-week course, what we do is we really give you the downloadable documents. And if you walk through each one of those and then meet with us on Wednesdays, we kind of help create clarity. So absolutely at the end, I think at the end of that, we've had several people launch immediately. And then we've had other ones about 4 to 6 weeks to 8 weeks after launch. And we are very much like you guys. Once you're in the kaleidoscope, that's why we named it kaleidoscope, right? Once you're in that kaleidoscope, you're kind of with us forever. So people drop us an email and give us updates. And then we do little things like the highlights to really give more value. But the people that at the end of that go, I might need a little more help writing the script. I might need a little more help with video production, with PowerPoint production, all of those things. And so that's usually when somebody comes to us and say, you know what, I'd like some help. Yeah.
When you look back at your journey in this chapter,
Yeah.
Knowing what you know today, if you went back that 4 years ago or 5 years ago, what would you tell yourself at that moment, knowing what you know now? What's the step you would take or the decision you would make?
Clarity on product and services. Get my book out sooner, because that was a real game changer for me from having conversations with people that I would normally not have conversations with, and create something that I can give to people that shows them they know, like, and trust me for that instant credibility.
What do you mean something that
the digital product, like a digital product, right? Because now they see me present. So now they know my philosophy. Now they know who I am. They get to see me. And once they make that connection, it's a transition for them. And then they call and they say, wow, we want to do more with you.
And so that digital product is, and I'm going to use my language here.
Yeah.
You're a little familiar with my language, but that's an attraction phase tool.
Yes.
That is free or no fee. That's what we would call a showcase tool.
It's a showcase tool. And you can also make it larger to make it for a fee.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So you can do both. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because my mind is clicking. Next weekend we'll do Achiever Circle number 155, and so my mind is thinking about how I might have some pre or post opportunities with some maybe combination value add.
Yes.
As well as some opportunities to take a piece or a series of pieces deeper.
Yes, absolutely. And I think the pre works because they will get to see you. They're going to get to see your style because you have a very clear style. And that makes people want to work with you. At the end, some of it is that follow-up, that how do we sustain what we're teaching people? How do you keep them moving forward? And that's where your value add becomes. Because now you can take one of those sections that you teach so well. I use your storm starter calls, which for people who don't know, it's 1 call a day, every day, just make it, just do it, right? But I think something, and you have many things like that. And how do you do a clip with maybe another downloadable that just helps people accelerate that opportunity?
interesting. This Saturday, I'm doing a 3-hour, what we call a pop-up training on only the storm starter strategy.
Yeah, all right.
And so I'm excited about that. So I'm going to think about this online course application, and again, how we might add value or enhance the value of that training.
Well, since you're already doing it, videotape it,
Mm-hmm.
and then use snippets of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
As I shared, you're scaring me. I think there's an opportunity here, Dr. T.
Absolutely.
In closing, might there be just, I mean, yes, I know an idea would be to take your course, and if I heard you right, indie books, indie friends and family get $50 off, so it's $99
for the course class. Yes, and it starts May 31st.
May 31st. Okay.
Yes. Yep.
And you repeat that 5-session course how many times throughout the year?
3.
3 times.
3
Okay.
times. Yeah.
Okay. So let's call that the idea.
Yes.
What, in parting, what would be a tip that you might give us that might help us look at it? What would a runway tip be to that $99 offer?
Look at all of your material you have and think about where's your value add and narrow it down. Now, we help you narrow it in that class.
Mm-hmm.
But what does that mean for you? Just start thinking about how you can leverage it. Don't think about price. Don't think about platform. Just think of all that content you have and say, how could I provide value to my client by using this process, this information, so I can get it out there more and in a clearer, more focused manner.
Thank you, Theresa, for being with us today. I'm incredibly grateful. I'm very interested in taking the course and having a conversation with you. I have personally put my toe in the water of online courses, actually maybe up to my ankle or my knee at times, and at some point got frustrated and washed my hands of it, and in several cases invested a fair amount of money.
Right.
So I'm thrilled to hear your approach and the opportunity. I hadn't thought about it this way before. So thank you so much for giving us a window into your world today. And on behalf of Henry and the team at Indie Books, your generous offer for those of us that are in the Indie Books International Friends and Family community.
Yes.
So thank you for that. In closing, everyone, I have an opportunity for each and every one of you. Some of you have heard me maybe talk about this as an example, but something that I did in the last 12 months that was rather creative was I created a 3-hour virtual seminar called A Table of 12. And it was an opportunity to re-engage people from my past, as well as have a lower dollar, high value, lower dollar investment for new people to come into my world. I'm doing a 3-hour Table of 12 virtual experience this Friday. If you are open and available, I would love to simply invite you to be my guest at no fee. So if you would just send me an email, mark@growingyourbusiness.com. Anyone who's listening to this call, just think of it as a gift from Kylie, my right hand, and me. I would love to have you join us. It is Friday from 9 a.m. to noon Central Standard Time. If you've done it before, great, come on back for a refresher. But if you're open on Friday morning, great. If you're not, cancel whatever the hell you had going on and join us for it. I know that it will be well worth your time. So Mark at growingyourbusiness.com for a free seat. Please let me know maybe in the next 24 hours or so. We have a dozen tools that Kylie will send to you. So we'd love to get those in your hands by tomorrow night or maybe first thing Thursday morning. So you've got a no fee seat at our Table of 12 virtual business training experience. So with that, thank you so much everyone for joining us. Thank you, Suzanne, for all of the good work that you do behind the scenes. Would everyone just give it up again for both Theresa Ashby and Suzanne for her good work. Thank you, everyone. Have a great week.